I'm Dwayne Brown. Tonight on KPBS Evening Edition, the president prepares to go before the nation to make his case for military intervention in Syria.
I'm Peggy Pico. Also ahead, how a San Diego medical group is trying to help ease the humanitarian crisis after 2 years of violent civil war in Syria. Then we talk with an El Cajon teacher and domestic violence survivor who says she was fired because of her abusive ex-husband.
And later, we'll take you aboard a rolling music studio designed to inspire creativity in kids. KPBS Evening Edition starts now. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. In just about an hour, President Obama will talk to the nation about Syria, making his case for a military strike, while work continues on a possible diplomatic solution. We have the latest from Mark Smith of the Associated Press.
Hours before a speech to the nation on Syria, President Obama went to Capitol Hill to plead with skeptical senators for backing. But a surprise plan for Syria to surrender the arms allegedly behind this horrific attack has changed everything. A military strike to enforce the global ban on chemical weapons is now on hold.
If we can do that without a military strike, that is overwhelmingly my preference.
Yet while UN diplomats explored the Russian-sponsored plan, the U.S. harbored huge doubts, noting Bashar Assad has denied for years even having a chemical stockpile.
I'm skeptical of it because of the actors that are involved.
The administration argues Congress should still back military strikes to ensure Syrian compliance.
And for this diplomatic option to have a chance of succeeding, the threat of a U.S. military action, the credible, real threat of U.S. military action must continue as we are talking today.
The use of force absolutely should not be off the table.
Yet Obama's hopes in Congress suffered a major blow when the Senate's top Republican balked.
A vital national security risk is clearly not at play. There are just too many unanswered questions about our long-term strategy in Syria,
which left Obama twisting arms on a vote he looks ever more likely to lose in support of military moves he may never take. Mark Smith, The Associated Press, the White House.
One of San Diego's congressional Republicans has come out against any intervention in Syria. Duncan Hunter says he's not convinced by the president's claim of a moral imperative to act. Hunter says, quote, the use of chemical weapons is deplorable, but after more than 100,000 Syrians have been killed, using chemical weapons does not suddenly necessitate a military strike. Hunter says the proposed battle plan for Syria is unreliable, strategically flawed, and he says he cannot support the president's request. Now, President Obama will address the nation about Syria tonight at 6. We will carry the speech live on KPBS television and on radio at 89.5 FM. As the president prepares to address the nation tonight, Peggy Pico finds out more about the human toll on Syria and what San Diegans are doing to help.
The United Nations estimates more than 100,000 people have died in Syria's 2 years of civil war, and U.S. officials say more than 1,400 were killed from the recent use of chemical weapons. Here with more on the human cost of the war and medical relief efforts underway are UC San Diego doctor and member of the Syrian American Medical Society, Alma Harb, and Tom Reifer, sociology professor at the University of San Diego and fellow at the Transnational Institute. Welcome.
Thank you.
Dr. Harb, you grew up in Syria, I understand, and you still have family there. What are they telling you about what the living conditions are right now?
Lack of food. There's no place safe to be at this point, and there's no access to good health care or basic health care, in fact.
Okay. And you're a member of the San Diego Syrian American Medical Society and the Save Syrian Lives campaign. Tell us what that campaign is doing.
This campaign is a non-for-profit, non-political that aims to fund and rush medical supplies to the areas inside Syria and in the refugees camp for the millions of people that are suffering and lacking the essential of medical and health care.
So the 2 million refugees, but also you're setting up, I understand, clinics, mobile health clinics?
So SAMS, through the Safe Syrian Lives campaign, has built about 25 field hospitals, trained physicians to deal and treat innocent victims of this ongoing conflict, as well as we have to remember to train first responders for triage of patients of chemical assaults.
Okay.
As well.
Okay. And Professor Reifer, the World Health Organization says Syria's civil war is currently, and they say this, the worst ongoing humanitarian crisis on earth. Why are they saying that?
Well, it's an internationalized civil war. There's regional powers and great powers involved on all sides. The Saudis and Qatar have been funding the opposition, including a lot of sectarian forces. Iran and Hezbollah and Russia have been funding the Assad regime. And it's driven the whole situation to get worse, and it's become more and more brutal. So the outside powers are involved. The United States is involved. We can't say that we're not involved.
How are we involved?
Well, because Saudi and Qatar are our allies. Qatar alone, which is a nation of 2 million people, has poured over $3 billion in arms and money into the conflict. Not necessarily help the Syrian people for their own interest. So it's a war in which the great powers and regional powers are involved, and the people that are suffering are primarily the people of Syria. Obviously, what's been done up to this point has been escalating the violence, and we have to have an alternative solution that gives peace and justice and dignity to the Syrian people, because the crisis can engulf the whole region as it's starting to do, and even the world.
And we're going to come back to that as far as what we can do and why it's not happening. But Dr. Harb, I want to ask you first, what are the critical medical and healthcare issues as far as staffing, doctors? What is critical right now? What's happening as far as epidemiology?
Yeah, well, as you know, we have over half of the physicians in Syria have fled outside the country. We have over 93% of hospitals been damaged or totally destroyed. These hospitals that are remaining have no power to keep running, and we have the epidemics that are on the rise of tuberculosis, measles, and other diseases that are not contained at this point.
And I think you mentioned 100 births a day is the estimate of babies in the refugee camps.
And that have no access to vaccinations or baby formula.
Okay. And Professor Reifer, the political debate is wearing on. We're just about to hear from the president. But in the meantime, what do you think is keeping the U.S. and other countries for that matter, from engaging in basic humanitarian efforts, or are we?
I think the reality is that there's a lot of geopolitical calculations being involved by the players. And there's rightly a lot of cynicism for all the actors involved. In some ways, it's not that it's irrelevant, but the powers may be forced into pressing for a more peaceful solution because that's what the people of the world are demanding. And I think that we have to realize that ultimately the people are stronger than governments. And people have a lot of wisdom. We need to take that collective wisdom and work with the Syrian people to come up with a solution to what is the worst humanitarian and human rights catastrophe in the world.
And along with that, Dr. Harb, if San Diegans want to be involved, what can they do? You have some fundraising events going on this weekend.
We just launched Safe Syrian Lives campaigns in San Diego. We have 2 planned charitable fundraiser events, one in Hillcrest this Saturday from 10 to 12 in Aladdin Cafe. There's another one next Thursday. We also would urge every single American to go online to the SAMS website and donate online, and as well as there's a texting to donate that can help as well.
Okay, and I want to let people know that they can find out those links and relief information on our website, kpbs.org. Thank you both so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Looks like he's back. Former San Diego City Attorney Mike Aguirre is now joining the race for mayor. 33 people have now filed intent notices. Aguirre is one of the better-known potential candidates. Others include Councilman David Alvarez, Bruce Coons with the Save Our Heritage organization, Councilman Kevin Faulkner, who was endorsed actually last night by the county's Republican Party, and former Assembly members Nathan Fletcher and Lori Saldana. Now, this is just a partial list. The nomination period closes next week. That's when potential candidates become official once their nomination papers are verified. You can find all our coverage of this special election online at kpbs.org/election. There's a wildfire. It's threatening hundreds of homes in Northern California tonight. The Clover Fire is burning near a rural community in Shasta County. It's one of several around the state. There's one burning in a wilderness park in the San Francisco Bay Area and near Yosemite National Park. Firefighters are still working to contain the rim fire. It's been burning for nearly 4 weeks now. There's also a fire here in San Diego County. The Lions Fire has burned about 450 acres southeast of El Cajon. This fire actually started yesterday afternoon. Now, no buildings are threatened, but only people who actually live in the area are being allowed back in. So far, San Diego's had a light fire season, but the county's Office of Emergency Services is calling on people to prepare for the worst by stocking up on emergency supplies and signing up online for the county's emergency notification service.
We want San Diegans to be prepared. That's what this is all about. Do you have a plan? Does your family know where to meet? Have you thought about, even individually, what you're going to do and how you're going to do it?
Now, the county set up a website, readysandiego.org, with information on getting prepared and free tents for the first 2,000 folks who register to get alerts and make a preparedness plan on the site. County officials say they're also working on plans for the disabled.
These are people that might not be able to speak for themselves. They might not be able to walk, to hear, to see. They may have special medical equipment need. And our goal is to equip them and their caregivers with the resources they need to prepare now for our next disaster.
The Office of Emergency Services says you should have a 3-day supply of food, water, and any medications you might need. Officials also say you should keep cash on hand and a half a tank of gas in your car. There's a lot more information at readysandiego.org. San Diegans will soon get a chance to weigh in on a proposal to raise water rates. The Public Utilities Department wants to increase rates by more than 7% next year and up to 7.5% more in 2015, all because of higher costs for wholesale water and the expense of infrastructure projects as well. Now, the higher rates would vary based on how much water you use. A public hearing on the proposal is set for November 21st. Is it cheaper to pay the fine than buy health insurance? That's the question we're tackling in tonight's Second Opinion series. Joining me from the News Center with the answer is Speak City Heights reporter Megan Burks. Megan, who's asking our question this week?
Toby Hayes is a father of 6 and next year presents a major financial challenge for his family. He has to start paying down his student loans at the same time the Affordable Care Act will require him to take out an insurance policy for his wife. She's currently uninsured. Here's Hayes.
So my question is, I have 6 children in my household and I'm covered by insurance by my employer. My wife, who stays home with our children, is not covered. What would the penalty be if we opt to not get coverage for my wife next year?
And Megan, before you answer the question, remind us why he would have to pay a penalty if he doesn't get health insurance for his wife.
Well, the law requires all individuals to have health coverage starting next year, and those who don't get covered have to pay $95 or 1% of their income, whichever is higher, and the fine actually increases to $695 or 2.5% in 2016.
Wow, so what's cheaper, the fine or paying the insurance premium?
Well, it really depends on your income. If Hayes makes $55,000 to support his family of 8, his wife would actually qualify for substantial subsidies on covered California. In this scenario, the fine would cost more than the insurance. But as income increases, subsidies decrease, and the cost of insurance slowly ticks above the cost of paying the fine.
Now, are there any pitfalls for folks who decide to pay the penalty?
Yeah, because the new law helps people with pre-existing conditions get coverage, a lot of people assume that they can wait until they're sick to buy insurance, but that's just not exactly the case. You can only buy coverage during open enrollment periods, so if you get sick in April, you could have to wait until October. For more details and to ask your own Affordable Care Act question, go to kpbs.org/secondopinion.
Fresh and easy neighborhood market stores have been sold to a California-based equity firm. Ukaipa Companies will assume the Fresh and Easy brand from Tesco, based in the UK. Now, terms of the deal were not disclosed, but 50 of the 200 stores nationwide will be closed. San Diego has about 16 Fresh and Easy stores around the county. The company says it's too early to tell which stores will close because negotiations are ongoing. The buyout is expected, however, to save more than 4,000 jobs. A federal appeals court says Google Street View cars went a bit too far in collecting data, not only taking pictures of neighborhoods, but collecting emails, internet passwords, and information about how folks in those neighborhoods surf the web. Google has apologized, saying it's disabled the data collection equipment and destroying the data. The company faces a class action suit over the snooping. Apple rolled out 2 new iPhone models today in a bevy of bright colors. The iPhone 5C is a cheaper version made of plastic starting at $99, available in 5 different colors, while the iPhone 5S starts at $199 and features a new operating system that reads your fingerprint instead of a security code to access the phone. The new models will be available September 20th. Apple has been facing increasing competition in the smartphone market. City Council has approved a proposal for prevailing wages at public works and maintenance projects in the city of San Diego. The new law takes effect January 1st. Its supporters say the pay boost will help workers and ensure construction quality without dramatic increases in project costs. The law passed on a party line vote. Opponents say projects will get more expensive. The city's independent budget analyst projects a 5 to 10% increase in those costs. A Catholic school teacher in El Cajon has filed a lawsuit against the diocese after she was fired because of her abusive ex-husband. Peggy Pico talks with the teacher about the wrongful termination suit.
Veteran teacher Carrie Charlesworth was fired by Holy Trinity School in El Cajon after her physically abusive ex-husband came to her school. She filed a breach of contract lawsuit against the Roman Catholic Diocese last week, just as the California Senate is set to vote on a bill that tries to protect domestic violence victims from losing their job due to their abusive spouses. Carrie Charlesworth, welcome.
Thank you.
Carrie, describe to us what happened on the day that resulted in you losing your job.
I had gone into my principal that morning before school started. We had had a really bad weekend with my now ex-husband. I had to call 3 times to get him violated on his restraining order that I had against him. Came in, warned my principal, kind of a bad weekend, be on the lookout for him. If he does show up at the school, we need to call the police. So at lunchtime, the security guard that the school had hired to kind of roam the perimeter for that day did notice him in the back parking lot, approached him, told him to leave. He then drove to the front parking lot. The school went into what they said in a letter that was sent home was a precautionary lockdown.
And did he leave?
He left.
Okay. No one was hurt?
Nobody was hurt. He never got out of his car. He called the office a few times, had no weapons.
Okay. What did Holy Trinity School administrators, what did they tell you about as to why you were let go?
I was let go because I am a liability due to my ex-husband's unpredictable and erratic behavior.
That's what they told you? Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, you've been teaching elementary school for 16 years, the last 4 at Holy Trinity. Prior to this incident, was the school aware of your ex-husband's behavior and his abusiveness?
Yes, they knew what was going on. I was very open with my principal when there were issues. So she was aware since 2009 when we had our first incident. She was aware of the situation and the school was supportive.
Did your ex-husband's abuse affect your ability to do your job?
No.
You weren't concerned for safety?
I not for safety. I mean, I had my own concerns. I mean, you know, everybody has stuff that goes on in their life, but I was still able to come to school every day, close my classroom door, and give my attention to those children that I was in charge of.
Okay. Your ex-husband, I understand, was sentenced to a year in jail for other domestic abuse and stalking issues. He was released in June.
Yes.
Prior and after serving this time, do you believe he was a safety threat to children and staff at your schools?
He has never hurt our own children, so for me to think that he would actually hurt other people's children just to get at me is not something that I think that he is capable of. He was his only threat was ever me.
You filed last week. You announced the filing of your lawsuit against the Roman Catholic Diocese for breach of contract. What do you think they breached? What do you think they did wrong?
According to the contract that I had to sign every year, my yearly renewal, it stated that I had certain standards that I had to live up to as a Catholic teacher. I'm held accountable for not only, the community laws and rules, but also the canon law, and I had to live my life according to what the church taught us. Well, according to their own contract, since they could be upheld to the canon law, they need to be upheld by the same standards. So, foregoing my right to work, my children's ability to get an education,
because they removed your children
they
from the
removed
school
my
as well.
children.
Yeah, and we asked the Roman Catholic Diocese to come on the show, but they didn't respond to our request. So we're getting this through you in a statement that they released also. Now, as a religious school, Holy Trinity is exempt from certain employment laws, but the state Senate is going to vote on this bill, SB 400, tomorrow, that would offer some protection for domestic violence victims from being fired, like yourself. If it passes, do you think it would help you get your job back?
I don't know if it would help me because it's still a private religious community. My goal, though, is that it will help other people, and maybe the diocese, maybe the other schools will say to themselves, well, we need to come up with a better way than just to say, pushing the person who is a threat out the door, because that's not going to make the school environment any safer just by eliminating one person that they see as the threat. So hopefully this will open communication between employer and employees so that people who are experiencing domestic violence in their house will be able to come forth to their employer, which makes the environment much safer because now you have the known as opposed to not knowing what's going on.
All right. We are out of time. So, Carrie Charlesworth, thank you so much for talking with us.
Thank you.
I'm Judy Woodruff. On the next News Hour, we preview President Obama's address to the nation to build support for a strike on Syria. That's Tuesday on the PBS News Hour.
Another good report card tonight for UC San Diego. The school named the 9th best public university in the nation and the 39th best overall. The ranking comes from U.S. News and World Report, its annual rankings. UC San Diego has made the top 10 every year in the past decade. The University of San Diego ranked number 91, and San Diego State was at number 152. A magical musical tour rolled up in Carlsbad today.
Hit those drums. Big arms, big arms, big arms, big arms, big arms.
The John Lennon Educational Tour Bus visited the Museum of Making Music. Some orchestra students from Chula Vista were among the first to climb aboard this morning. The bus has toured nationwide for more than 15 years, giving kids a creative outlet.
We help students write songs and make music videos for free as a part of, really trying to create this outreach program that supports music education. Really, we want to give these kids access. We want to give them hands-on opportunities to create these projects.
And having a creative outlet can make a real difference for some students. 11-year-old Vanessa Zepeda says she was one of those clamoring for music, and joining the orchestra changed her relationship with school.
I knew that for being in music, I had to be in school and I had to be on top. So I like to practice. So if I miss out on a day of school, that means I had to miss out on a day of music. So it was really hard for me. But then I got used to being at school, and I really like school now.
Now, the visit also helped kick off a national series of forums on increasing music access in public schools. Let's put it this way. A fast start and a disappointing finish last night for the Chargers. Losing to the Houston Texans in their home opener at Qualcomm, Chargers scored a touchdown in the first 15 seconds and led the game until the fourth quarter when the Texans took over. Final score, 31-28 Houston. Chargers coach Mike McCoy says it all comes down to finishing a game, a problem the Chargers have had for quite some time. Well, hope you enjoyed that break in the heat over the past couple of days because the hot weather is expected to return. Coastal temperatures are about to start moving back up over the next few days. Upper 70s by Friday, even hotter over the weekend. 80s for the inland valleys and a bit of cloud cover. We'll see that burn off eventually inland. Then we'll start to see 90s this weekend. Clear and sunny in the mountains. No more thunderstorms there. Temperatures in the mid to upper 80s. As for the desert, some possible thunderstorms tomorrow, then clearing to very hot days, 103 by Friday, and over the weekend, up to 106. You can find tonight's stories and download the KPBS app all on our website, kpbs.org/evening edition. Thank you for joining us. Good night.